Hi everyone. I'm making this video about how to write an impact statement. The purpose of an impact statement is to summarize the abilities of an individual and to highlight areas that need assistance with. A form of an impact statement is used when assessing an individual for a disability pension, or could be used in a leave of absence. In day-to-day life, an impact statement may help your employer know what accommodation is needed for your workstation and how to best help you be employed and be successful in your job. An impact statement may help you prepare for a trip as you outline what areas you will need help with so that you have an enjoyable vacation. It also is a tool to help you think through areas in your life that need assistance, and as a way of presenting your needs to the medical community to match systems with the help that you need. If you have trouble expressing yourself, a social worker or a personal support worker could help assist you preparing this. For the impact statement to be effective, you need to be honest with yourself concerning what in your life you need help with. And then you also need to be able to acknowledge where you're doing well at. So part of acknowledging where you're doing well at is not being in the mindset of why me or feeling sorry for yourself. And being honest with this in both sides of the scale is the only way this works and will be a tool in getting you the help that you need. I want to provide you with some of the key areas of life and examples that you could write down if they are applicable to you and your situation. Once you finish this, you need to have someone who has intimate knowledge of your life look it over and check for accuracy. This is a good starting point, but it needs to be tweaked by people who are actively involved in your life, whether it's a friend, a personal support worker, a nurse, maybe it's your family doctor or home care coordinator who needs to talk to you about these things so you have the right helps and supports. The first topic is bathing. Some people will require full assistance. An example of someone in this situation is a quadriplegic where they don't have the use of arms or legs. Partial assistance may mean that you need help with the lower half of your body, your legs and your feet, for example. Or else you could be independent in bathing. It's also important to note how you bath. Like, do you use a stitz bath where it's a basin of water? Do you rely on sponge baths? Are you washing using the sink in your bathroom? Or do you use a shower as it's designed? If you own your own home, could a change be made to your shower that would improve your independence, such as a walk-in shower where the door closes, forming a watertight seal, and water fills up to about your neck area? Would that allow you to do more for yourself? The general idea with personal support workers is if you're able to reach it and your hands are functional, you're expected to wash it yourself. The idea in having a personal support worker is not giving up your life. It's to augment and add on to what you already aren't able to do for yourself. It's to make up the shortcomings in your life so that you're then receiving the right help and having the correct personal hygiene. The next area I want to talk about is getting dressed. So some people may require full assistance. That is, they don't have the use of the arms to dress themselves. Maybe you require partial assistance, such as you're not able to bend and you need help getting your underwear and shorts, pants, and socks on you, as well as shoes. Or perhaps you're independent. So a question to ask yourself with dressing is, would the use of a reacher grabber increase your ability to dress yourself? Or if you had a sock horn, would it promote additional independence? Both of these tools, when taught to you by an occupational therapist, are able to allow you to do more for yourself. The increased independence, when it's practical, is good for your mind, as well as it allows you to leave your home more freely to be involved in social events such as attending a tea or light snack, even if you're attending a church service, or you want to go to a hockey game and you're able to get yourself ready and arrange transportation. So think through if any of these things I've said, specifically a reacher grabber or a sock horn, even a shoe horn, may be something that you could acquire. For eating, there's two parts to this. The first is the meal preparation. Are you able to do your own cooking? Are you relying on a family member to cook several meals ahead of time and bring them to you frozen? Are you using a service such as Meals on Wheels? Are you attending a soup kitchen? Partly maybe financial, but part could be the social aspect. Are you relying on restaurants to provide you with food preparation? If this isn't something that you're independent with, you should note it on your impact statement so you're able to plan for it. Our bodies need nourishment. When we're undernourished, our minds don't work as well, and we begin to be fatigued. So this is something that needs to be talked about if it's applicable to you. The second part of eating is how it actually gets into your stomach. Are you someone that requires a feeding tube? There's certainly no shame in it if that's what's happened in your life. Do you require full assistance because there's limited use of your arm? So by this I mean taking a spoon and having someone put it into your mouth for you. Do you require partial assistance? Like, have you had a stroke and no longer have the use of an arm, for example? Or maybe it's limited use and you're working through your physiotherapy. You need to indicate if it's expected to improve so you can plan for this. Having a personal support worker isn't about giving up your life. It's about helping you get through a situation. So being honest with yourself about an improvement and then having the mindset that you want to improve is a big part of it when you've been through a traumatic event. Or are you able to feed yourself? When I moved back home after double hip surgery, there was a time in my life where I was having help twice a day, where the morning person would get me breakfast as well as leave lunch ready either on the stove or in the fridge ready to be heated up, or maybe it was just sandwiches that day. And then someone was coming that evening to help me get my evening meal, as well as helping me change my pajamas and be ready for bed. So there are options about not having someone there all day, but getting a meal ready for you in advance. And if that's the help you need, write it down. The next topic I want to discuss is eyesight. So an extreme case of blindness could have put you in the situation where you need Braille and are able to read with Braille. And if that's your situation, we do live in a time when having access to Braille materials is possible through a request. Maybe your vision is poor in one of your eyes, or you only have vision in some of your eye, such as the peripheral vision, from here over is gone. So maybe your statement reads, I'm able to see out of my left or right or both eyes, but only such as a half or a quarter. The next possibility may be that you wear contact lenses or glasses. And certainly, if you write this down, it should also be reflected on your driver's license. If you need corrective eyewear, it's usually indicated on your license as a condition of operating a motorized vehicle. The final one may be that your eyesight doesn't affect your day-to-day life. It's possible that you would think about the eye surgery that restores vision. This would be something to talk to your doctor about and not do quickly, but it would be an option for some people. So you need to think through what it is that you can see, because seeing promotes independence. And just so you know, if you are going blind, you can still function, and it's just a matter of having systems in place. Like, I heard of a man who made lawn chairs. He knew he was going blind, so he made recordings of himself before he went blind, so he could still do this as a hobby once he lost his sight. There are ways of surviving and coping with life. You don't have to be a one-man show or a one-woman show if you're experiencing something like this. Losing eyesight is a major change in your life, and it's okay to ask for help if that's what you're needing and support. The next topic I want to discuss is finances. To me, there's really only two extremes with finances. The first is that you're responsible for your finances and able to maintain a budget. You may have needed help creating your budget, but once you have it, you are able to stick with it and are not someone that impulse buys or goes shopping when experiencing emotional distress. And if you are having problems and you do use shopping as a mechanism for coping, it's okay to ask for help. You're certainly not alone in this situation. And there are good doctors, there are good psychiatrists and counselors that can help you work through the real issues that resolve impulse buying. And it's not only about impulse buying, it's about improving your quality of life. If you acknowledge that there's a problem, you can work on it and it can get better. Some people may jerk back when they think about counseling that they really do need. But the point of counseling is improving. And if you can cling on to the hope that you will improve, it's worth enduring the process regardless of how hard it is. The other extreme with the finances is someone who is dependent on your bills being paid and your financial aspect of your life. There's a very sad story that I have to share. There was someone I met in their 60s who developed dementia but really closed themselves off. And when trying to talk to them about their finances, they would not accept help. The person ultimately went bankrupt. I don't want to see you suffer and have the challenges increased because you're not asking for the help that you do need. There really is no shame in asking for help. When it comes to finances, you need to think through who it is that you're asking help from. And it's so that you won't find yourself in the situation that you're being taken advantage of. I write out my budget, and I have a little card that I keep by my computer. So much money is spent on my mortgage, for utilities, food, the gym membership where I do my physiotherapy, and then I also have my internet bill, my voice over IP, the few online services that I subscribe to. Having your budget wrote down when you're relying on someone for help is one form of accountability. If you're not sure of where you're at financially speaking, you could save all the cash register receipts and have an envelope system where you keep money tucked into an envelope that relates to household maintenance, such as lights, fluids that you would use to clean the kitchen and the bathroom, money spent on food, utility bills, and everything that you buy, gas for the car, for example, so you get a grasp of how your money is being used. Knowing where you're at is half the battle. Even if you find out that you're in the situation where you need to give up your car, it doesn't mean that you're giving up your life. There are alternative methods of getting around regardless of where you live. There is some negotiation that needs to take place. There's not the freedom that a car gives you, but if you honestly can't afford it, then you work through what's available in your community or who attends the events that you're going to that perhaps you could contribute to the cost of getting you back and forth, but not have the expense of owning a car, the insurance, and the maintenance that all goes with it. Carpooling really does work. And given the attention that we're giving to the environment, it certainly is an in thing to do. I now want to talk about the toileting and the use of the washroom. So some options that could be under the topic of toileting for you is the use of a catheter. I'm not talking about when you've had surgery and you initially can't feel the muscles to pee, but the day-to-day life and dependence on a catheter. For men, there's the option of a condom catheter where you've lost control of when the urine comes out of you, but it's not a matter of putting the tube into the urethra. Perhaps it is that you've had a colostomy and you rely on the bag that's on your chest. You may require assistance for the transfer to the toilet. You might be someone who uses a urinal to pee into because you have limited use of your hips. You might require the briefs that are available for adults because you either don't have bladder or bowel control. And there certainly is no shame in this. There are many adults who do need these briefs. And if you're one of them, don't feel like you're by yourself. Or perhaps you're able to toilet without needing assistance. The final area that I want to talk about is walking and your specific mobility. Some people are going to be unable to walk and they require the use of a wheelchair. Some people may require the use of either crutches, a cane, or a walker. It's also possible that you use two of these, such as a crutches, but use a walker when getting meals ready because a walker provides that flat surface on the seat that could bring food by means of a plate or bowl to your table. Maybe you have limited mobility before you turn to a wheelchair. So you'd be indicating, I'm able to walk this number of steps, before I'm debilitated by pain. Or maybe it's that your speed of walking is impeded. So you'd indicate, I'm able to walk at a speed of so many meters or feet per hour. These are the types of things that are talked about when a personal support worker is being put in place. It can feel very intrusive, but the goal of an assessment is to help you determine the helps you are needing while leaving your independence and maximizing on what you're able to do for yourself. As I've said, if you're planning for a trip or an assessment, maybe for a hip replacement, presenting your surgeon with a list of facts about why you're needing this hip or why you're needing this knee and the impact it's having on your life may be of help. If you're bringing an impact statement to a surgeon, I would first use your family doctor as a sounding board. And certainly I went through this process with my family doctor, and he was of great help. Friends are also able to speak into your life and realize areas that you're struggling with. I've shared lots here in the hopes that it would help you be aware of yourself, and then you could derive whatever items are applicable to you and the specific help you're needing, and using this as a method to express it to either your employer, your healthcare provider. Maybe it's for a travel agency to work out your needs for you to have an enjoyable trip. After you prepare your list, I do encourage you to go to a friend that you trust and talk over the list that you've made so it's accurate, and then work with them to make any tweaks before making your final copy for the reason why you've created it. I do hope this is of help to you, and I want to thank you for the time that you spent with me today. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.